We have the Karma or the Judgment card in reverse under the deck. Okay, let me show you the cards, Scorpio. So what you're meant to not do or stop doing is we have the Knight of Pentacles. What you're meant to do or start doing, we have the High Priest, the Hierophant, right there in the center. And then what we have here is, and what you can look forward to regardless, is the Eight of Cups. You're moving on here, Scorpio. You're headed out. Could be that you travel between now and the end of the year. And it could be that you just decide to leave something, leave a job, possibly even leave a project that you've been working on. It's almost like it's been bubbling up within you for a while, and at some point during this time frame, you're just like, you know what, I'm doing it. I'm going to take that trip. I'm going to move away towards something that feels more important to my soul, that feels more in alignment with my heart. Remember, we're dropping into the heart here. You're wanting abundance in all areas of your life, not just an abundant family life or an abundant love life, but you're wanting abundance in the work that you do, in your bank account, in your sense of purpose in the world. And the Eight of Cups is truly the card of the spiritual journey. You know, it's taking a journey for your soul growth. So you do tend to leave behind certain things. You usually pack very lightly whenever you kind of go on this journey. And packing lightly in terms of what you're choosing to bring with you in terms of your experiences. You're leaving like experiences behind that aren't in alignment with who you are now, let's say. And what I mean by that is, of course, we always take our experiences with us, but you're not shining the light upon the negativity. You're shining the light on the abundance that you're being drawn to, really, that is being revealed to you from within. Very cool. All right, so this goes beautifully with what you're meant to not do or stop doing. And this is the Knight of Pentacles. The Knight of Pentacles is slow moving. You keep going forward. And this is how I'm feeling it for you. You're because you're meant to stop doing this. You're moving forward and you're making progress, slow progress, and it's very steady. It's very methodical, but it doesn't speak to the wildness of your soul. That's how it's coming in. I'm really drawn to, there's a deer or an elk there, and here you are. I feel like this is you in some ways. You're just kind of going through, and it's what's expected of you, and you're doing it, and this is what you do, right? Every day, like, oh, this is my life now, kind of thing. But like I said, the wildness of your soul is here. You want to be able to be free. This is what is most likely going to occur regardless of what you do or don't do. And it also could be an earth sign for you here, Scorpio, or an environment where everything is very slow moving, very methodical. And as I mentioned, there's a stirring within you of a certain wildness. But what's really interesting is with the High Priest here, or the Hierophant, in what you're meant to do or start doing, this could be higher education. This could be getting additional skill, a new skill set through education. It could also be that you decide to work in a more traditional work setting. It could be that you've been on your own in some way, more sort of solo pursuits or entrepreneurial pursuits, and you're making progress, but it's really slow and it's not suiting, again, that wildness. And you may decide to do something more traditional. Could be government related, educationally related, a higher institution of some kind, a bigger company. Or it could also just be, if you don't want that, because that can feel heavy sometimes too. But for many of you, it may provide that sense of abundance. You're not just scraping by, but they have the insurance benefits, and they have a lot more to offer to you based on just their sheer size and stability. And it may be also, if it's not about working for a company like that, it's about maybe being more traditional. And again, this doesn't mean it's your whole life. It's just during this period of time, it looks like you're kind of being asked to go a little bit more traditional. Don't try to do something too avant-garde here. Maybe that's what you've been doing in the past. You've been, again, for some reason, I feel like a little bit of more like entrepreneurial or solo. And it's just been kind of a struggle. You don't have to do it alone, and you don't have to do it so slowly, but you have to make a shift here. And this is what you're doing. You're doing this with the Eight of Cups. You're moving on regardless. Again, it could be from a project, could be from a group, could be from a job. And you're going towards something that's going to be more stable. This is what you're meant to focus in on more. Something that's more traditional, something that's more stable, good higher education. Because even though it seems as though that would be in contrast to what your soul is wanting, the wildness of your soul, it also provides you with a certain degree of stability, which allows for you to not worry so much. It gives you this sense, this feeling as though you're more secure. And with that sense of security where you don't have to worry so much, like, how am I going to pay the bills? How am I going to pay my insurance? How am I going to take care of my family? Because this is a bigger, kind of more traditional sort of organization, possibly. Or even if it's just a more traditional approach to what you've been doing, it creates more stability. Traditions, people often like to buck tradition, like, oh, it's so traditional. But there's a reason things tend to last the test of time in terms of traditions. There's beautiful traditions, and they're there for a reason, because there's something comforting about them. And it may provide you with a sense of comfort, which dampens down the fear and adrenaline response and allows you to be more creative and explore what your soul is asking you to explore more without all the fear and anxiety. We do have the Karma card in the reverse here under the deck. Be aware too where you are, you're not, I kind of feel like this is weird. It's actually coming in kind of as though the environment that you're in hasn't been providing you with that sense of stability that you're wanting. I'm really drawn to the fact that they're all holding hands and they're all like praising, the eclipse, it looks like. Honoring their spiritual side here, but beyond that, with the Judgment card in reverse, it's kind of like the environment you've been in hasn't been providing you with that next layer or level, next level of this is what it is. It's like you've been cruising along, but you haven't been progressing, right? Like this. And I feel like the environment that you've been in has been kind of like that. Like it hasn't provided you with that sense of, it's like when you are in a tennis match, or I don't play tennis. I don't know why that's coming in. But if you're in a sporting event, right, and you're playing with people who are of the same skill set, and then you play against someone who's much better than you, and that ratchets up your game, and suddenly you get to the next level. So I feel like the environment that you've been in has been like that. You've been playing kind of within this kind of level like this, and there's been a lot of difficulty and a lot of struggle, but part of it is that you've been wanting to break out of it. You've been wanting to ascend to the next level. It's how it's feeling. Like you're not meant to do this anymore. Slow and steady wins the race. You're meant to do something that provides you with a greater sense of tradition, higher. Again, this goes back to this higher learning, and it may not be an actual higher learning in terms of an educational institution, but you're meant to, and even he's pointing upward, right? When it goes with the spiritual journey, something that's, provides you with a higher skill set is what it's feeling like to me. That's really interesting. Scorpio, thank you for bearing with me as the messages came in. It was kind of difficult to get there, but I'm there now. Yeah, it's like you've just expanded beyond what you've been in. This is why it's so important for you to focus in on what you want, the things that you enjoy, the abundance that's, even if it's not seemingly in your present environment, you can begin to play with it like, oh, it's going to be so exciting when I'm at the next level of my skills and abilities. It's going to be so exciting when I'm pushed a little bit more to go beyond what I've been doing recently. I can't wait to work in an environment with like-minded people who are also wanting to expand and grow, and you can play with it. And just be aware that if the ego may come in and go, yeah, but you're never going to get there, or yeah, but you don't have it yet, and say, oh, I hear you, ego, but I'm going to go more with the feeling of how amazing it will feel. And just play with it. You'll feel the back and forth is very normal. Don't worry too much about that. But this is how it's feeling for me, Scorpio. So I hope that makes sense, and the message was